Today on CityCast Nashville, we want to talk about malls. Is it because the Nashville scene just did a cover story on our evolving retail landscape? Or because we desperately miss our teenage years? Well, either way, I'm excited to have comedian Miriam Kirk and Hey Nashville newsletter editor Margaret Kingsbury here to get nostalgic with me. It's Wednesday, March 26th. I'm your host, Marie Cecile Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. Miriam, I'm going to start with you. What mall did you hang out at in high school?
Okay, so that's the thing. I grew up right off of Briley, so you would think Opry Mills was the place to go. But back in the day, my parents were like, oh, it's not safe to go here. So we went to Green Hills Mall.
Oh, you did?
We would go to the Green Hills Mall. They would never drop me off to just hang out. Like, we would go to Marmy's because that was my mom's favorite place to go and get shoes. Like, my sister worked at the Aeropostale they had at the time. And whenever she closed, like, she would get free Auntie Anne. So I was like, oh, this is the hookup.
Good answer. Margaret, where did you hang out?
This is going back to Opry Mills, but I don't even think that was a mall when I was a teenager. I'm not sure.
So we're a little older, I believe, than Miriam.
So. Yeah, that dated me. When you said that, I was like, oh.
I know. I cried when they tore down Opryland to build Opry Mills. It was such a devastating thing to happen to Nashville. The fact that they tore down our beloved theme park, then to put these like factory outlet stores. It was like my first lesson in capitalism, I think.
Same. Yeah, same. I do have a really sweet story about my favorite mall. So I grew up in White Bluff, which is rural today, but it was even more scarcely populated when I was a kid. And Dickson County didn't have a lot of things that it has now. So we would go to the Bellevue Mall and hang out as teens sometimes. And we had our prom dinner there.
Whoa.
And it was my first official date with my now spouse. And we went there to have dinner for prom. We were all dressed up fancy. And we played, if you went to the Bellevue Mall, you might remember the little indoor play area. They had like a caterpillar tunnel. We had pictures posing in the indoor playground there.
Wow.
Before prom event. And then
I didn't
we
know you could
headed
have
back
prom
to
at the mall. That's awesome.
Yeah, we headed back to Dickson for the actual prom was in the high school. This was before Dickson County even had two. They now have two high schools. But back when I was there, it was just one high school. But yeah, so I went there with about 20 teenagers for prom. But that's where we would loiter was Bellevue Mall. If we weren't at Walmart, more likely we were at Walmart in Dickson. So
wow. Miriam, did you go to your high school prom? And if so, where did you go? Like, did you go to a mall beforehand?
No. Okay. So y'all know I went to private school.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. A little Lighthouse Christian school out in Antioch, Tennessee.
Nice.
Is where I went. But our senior prom was downtown at the Sheraton, like the hotel that spins at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's where our senior prom was. Like, I went with a guy from my church because it was Christian school. I couldn't be gay. So... just like some very nice guy from my church was like, yeah, my dad asked him to go with me. So
wow.
Not quite as beautiful a love story as you have, Margaret.
One of my most embarrassing moments in 8th grade took place at the Hickory Hollow Mall. And I'm gonna get in there, TMI, but I had just started my period. Didn't know really how that thing worked. And remember bringing like a tampon in my pocket of my jeans. And I was so embarrassed to have it on me that I went to the Gap and like bought a t-shirt to put the tampon in the bag. Brilliant. And then we ran into like these cute guys that went to our school. And one of the girls like grabbed my bag to be like, what did you buy, Marie? And dumped it out in front of everybody. And then my tampon rolled in front of everybody. And they all were like, whose tampon is that? And I lied. And I was like, oh my God, was that in my Gap bag when I bought this shirt?
That's wild.
It was really, at that age, it was incredibly embarrassing. And then I never went back to the Hickory Hollow Mall after that. And now that mall is dead. So no, it's not dead. Actually, it's
Karma. It's karma.
a charter school.
A charter school?
Yeah, it's Global Mall now.
Exactly. And it was once the highest grossing mall in the city before it started to decline. They changed the name to Global Mall in 2012 and tried to revitalize it, but it didn't work. And in 2022, the city of Nashville bought it, and they're still trying to figure out what to do with it. For a while, it was going to be another Vanderbilt medical campus like 100 Oaks, but the inside is all rotted and has to be demolished.
I remember Hickory Hollow. I mean, that was right down the street from Lighthouse Christian where I went to school. And we would go there as seniors. We were allowed to leave campus. And I think that was like 2014, 2015. So the mall was long dead. There was like 12 stores there, maybe 2 restaurants in the food court. And we would go and eat at the gyro spot, but very much abandoned. So that after.
So sad. Are we going to start doubling down and going back to malls, y'all? Is that where we're headed?
I kind of like malls.
I feel like there's this push to shop local now.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not going to go to Lululemon. I want to invest in my local businesses. But the Green Hills Mall is thriving, though. I don't know if y'all have been there recently, but my mom came back like a couple days ago and she was like, there were so many people there, couldn't find any parking. Everyone was there buying stuff, just so much stuff. Yes. She was so mad about it.
That place is always packed. You have to like circle around for parking spots.
Let's focus on some other dead malls in Nashville. So Miriam, now I'm like, oh gosh, maybe you don't even remember the Rivergate Mall.
We loved the Macy's and the Sears at Rivergate Mall. That's where we were at shopping, Macy's and Sears. I have older parents, obviously. I wasn't shopping at Hot Topic or whatever. I was dressed down in Brooks Brothers. My mother loved Brooks Brothers. That was also Green Hills. But Rivergate, we would go to the Macy's, the Sears, the Dillards.
The Dillard is still there.
Dillard's is still there. Yeah, that's where I went to do my school shopping. I love the Rivergate Mall.
My grandparents, both sets of grandparents lived right by the Rivergate Mall. So that's where I would go shopping with them. And 2 of my grandparents, they would like hike and exercise in the mall. They'd like get their mini weights and like power walk through the mall. I'll never forget like one time as an adult, I was there shopping and around a corner, I wasn't expecting to see my grandparents that day. And around the corner, they come just booking it with their weights. And I'm like, geeky, daddy, you know, that's what I called them. My other grandmother, Nana, was like this power sales shopper. And she would take me like twice a year for back to school shopping at the Dillard's or the Pennies that was there. And she'd bring her biggest purse and she would wait at the door for the opening on the sales and like power through there, knocking people over at Rivergate. Do you know what I mean? Like those women that are just like getting to the sales no matter what.
That's when Black Friday was actually Black Friday. Like we were out there throwing bows. The deals were real. Like I respect it.
Big hard purse ready to rack people.
As you should. You had to fight for those deals. They were giving away flat screens for like $10. You had to bring a big bag.
Just so you know, Rivergate Mall is currently planned for some mixed-use redevelopment that's happening. So it's going to have a resurgence. I don't know if you've been lately, but yeah, it does need a little bit of work. It's pretty dead, I will say. Yeah. But excited for the future. Did y'all ever go to the Harding Mall? Ever hear of that?
No. I never went to that one.
I used to go to the Lebanon Outlet Mall.
Yeah, that was a day trip. That was a good.
Is that still there?
I think so. It's like a strip mall.
It's still there. Yeah, I've been there.
I would drive for those deals.
I try to go around the holidays. And then 100 Oaks Mall was a big one for our family because they had the Easter Bunny. And so like all of our like childhood pictures, every year we would go visit the Easter Bunny. And I have one picture of the 3 of us. I have 2 sisters, the 3 of us. And like we're standing by the Easter Bunny. And then if you look close enough, like the tile all around us is completely mildewed. It's so gross.
Oh my God.
Completely like just dark, you know, in a shower that you haven't cleaned in years. Yeah, that was exactly what this mall looked like. And so now the 100 Oaks Mall is like a PetSmart, a TJ Maxx, a Marshalls. It's also like a Vanderbilt Health Center.
The movie theater's still going strong, though.
That's true.
Yep, I kissed a couple of boys there. Nice girl. Margaret, did you go to 100 Oaks Mall?
Yeah, we used to sometimes go trick-or-treating there.
What?
You could just walk around to stores and go trick-or-treating and stuff. Yeah. I would go sometimes for my birthday, like as a special trip. My mom would like let me pick 2 of my best friends to go to the mall with, and I could pick different malls. And I remember going to 100 Oaks one time. And I bought all these clothes, and then I shrunk all the shirts. So the shirts all showed my belly button, and I couldn't wear them to school. I remember that distinctly. Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't do it on purpose?
No, I didn't. I was a good kid.
As soon as I got to college, I got that belly button pierced, baby. My mom was horrified. So I was wearing all those. I know. So scandalous. Well, have y'all ever worked at a mall?
I did
No,
not.
I worked at a Dollar General, so missed out on the mall fun.
I worked at the Victoria's Secret at the Green Hills Mall for one holiday season. It was awful. It was so bad. It was during Christmas, and so it was just, it was bad. But now that it's Aritzia, that location, there's no more Victoria's Secret there, which is good for my soul because it was so traumatic. When's the last time y'all went to a mall, and which one and why?
I went to the Cool Springs Mall fairly recently on a rainy day for the indoor playground. So something I miss about malls as a parent, they usually have an indoor play area for kids, and there's just not any of that in most neighborhoods. You know, we used to have the Bellevue Mall there, and there was an indoor playground there, but now the only indoor area to take kids for free is the library, which is great, but it's nice to have like an alternative place to go. But we took my daughter to Cool Springs, Galleria, and Franklin to play in their little play area, and they have like an arcade over there too.
I know Opry Mills has a tiny little indoor play area still.
And it
Not
is
much.
always packed.
Yes, it's always
really?
packed to the brim. But yeah, I didn't realize that like that was a staple. I'm learning so much.
Didn't like Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera, like, weren't they touring malls in the 90s? I don't know.
That. I
or like
think you're
maybe
right.
it was just music videos or whatever. But yeah, it's like that's where people would stop to launch their pop singing careers or something. And we do not see, like, when is Taylor Swift going to perform at the Green Hills Mall? You know what I mean? That would be good. Come on. Come on, Tay-Tay. She'd be like, no, never. Not going back.
People would freak out.
There's
I
already
know,
not
and-
enough parking. We do not need Taylor Swift at the Green Hills Mall.
Okay, heard. What is the best mall store of all time, any era?
I'm going to say Hot Topic. I mean, I love Hot Topic. I went in there for Christmas I was looking for Studio Ghibli stuff for my daughter because she likes Kiki's Delivery Service. And I still love that store. I went in there and I was like, oh, I love all this stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I know Hot Topic back in the day was more goth, but I don't know if is it still leaning that way. I feel like it's like
cutesy nostalgia stuff.
Yeah,
Like they literally had 4 racks of Studio Ghibli stuff. And I feel like that's not very goth. Like it's very, I would say nerd culture. It leans into nerd culture.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Like it's very like nostalgic, like 90s. I think for me, my store is always probably going to be Nike, just because I would drive till this day, when I go to Chicago, I go to the Nike store. I used to drive up to Lebanon to go to the Nike store. Like Nike for me is because I've been an athlete my entire life. I'm still an athlete because I coach. So it's like the Nike store has always been it for me.
I'm going to change my answer, actually. Do y'all remember the bookstore? Walden Books.
Walden Books.
Yeah, I loved going to Walden Books. I just miss having like a bookstore right there. I mean, we have bookstores and they're great and they're independent, so we should be supporting them. But
Well, I love that Davis Kid in Green Hills. That is no more.
oh yeah,
That's
the
where
Davis
I
Kid.
lived as a kid.
Yeah,
In the Green
we
Hill,
went
yeah.
to Starbucks mostly, but I love Davis Kids
Oh,
too.
yeah, Starbucks.
Yeah, that was in that movie theater that turned into a postal office later.
Ah.
Anyway.
Well, I'm a little shocked nobody mentioned Spencer's Gifts or Journeys or Claire's. That's where I got my ears pierced, right in the Green Hills
Same.
Mall.
Same.
Would you do it again? Like, I thought it was the most pain I've ever experienced. I think I was in 6th grade.
I have virginal ears.
Oh.
They have never been pierced. Sorry. That's much.
Wow. Yeah.
What was that store that sold like rocks and hot lava lamps and hippie stuff?
There's one at Opry now. It might be a new version of it.
That's Spencer's Gifts.
I thought it started with a P. I had Pangea stuck in my head, but that was the Hillsboro.
Oh, Pangea,
store.
R.I.P. I love that store so
used
much.
to sell lava lamps and rocks and stuff?
Yeah, I used to get my spouse gifts. That's where I would get when we were dating as teenagers, not like now.
When I was in high school and college, they're like, Spencer's was like, question, you're going to Spencer's? What? Question mark? Because that was like they're not selling rocks anymore. Let me say that. Because there's other stuff that I'm not sure I can say on the podcast. Sex toys.
Oh, really?
Yes.
They have sex toys at Spencer's?
Yes.
Should I still be shopping there for birthday gifts for my spouse?
I would say yes. Absolutely.
Obviously, yeah.
Way back in the day, I loved an Eddie Bowers. Do we have Eddie Bowers anymore?
What was that?
Yeah.
There's an outlet
hiking
at the Lebanon store, I think.
Oh, really?
Because that's where we go, because my spouse shops there for clothes stuff.
It's like a LL Bean. I don't know. I just remember, oh my gosh, I was so scared to start freshman year high school. Like the night before school started, I was so worried about what I was going to wear that like I made my mom take me to the Green Hills Mall right before. And we went to Eddie Bauer and bought a pair of hiking boots. And she was like, why would you wear hiking boots in August? And I was like, it's what the kids are wearing.
Those were really in. I remembered I wanted
Timberlands.
I didn't have any.
Whatever.
Yeah, Timberlands. Yeah, I really wanted a pair, but we couldn't afford it. You just wore hiking boots when you're not hiking.
It was super in. My grandmother had sent me $50 in the mail, like to, celebrate. And I was like, I have to use this towards hiking boots. My mom couldn't believe it. She doesn't remember that story as lovingly as I do. All right. Okay. Well, let's wrap up with a lightning round. We're going to play, Is That a Mall? So I'm going to go down a list of things in Nashville that we're going to answer. Is that a mall? So in Green Hills, they have the Whole Foods, they have Anthropology, West Elm. Is that a mall or a promenade?
I'll go promenade.
Promenade, yeah.
Anything in Green Hills is a promenade, really.
All right. The B&A Airport.
Mall.
Oh.
Yep.
Mall.
I think it's a mall.
Mall with a few airlines attached to it. It's a mall.
Our executive producer, Whitney, just wants to mention that they have a James Avery, and that officially does make it a mall.
That and K Jewelers. Like, I feel like if there's a K Jewelers, it's a mall. I've never seen a K Jewelers outside of a mall.
Man, my sister worked at the K Jewelers at the mall for a long time. Yeah. All right, 12th South. Is that a mall?
No.
I think it's hell on earth. That's just me. There's like a store called Love Shack, and it's like all pink and purple, like lingerie, but people wear just dresses. Have you seen this?
My favorite place in 12th South is the Twice Daily. So.
Oh, what's that?
It's a gas station without gas.
How about the Nashville Arcade? Miriam, did you ever go to the arcade downtown?
My eye doctor used to be down there. Yes. I loved the
really?
arcade. Yes. There was, I don't know why, but there was an eye doctor that was down there that we used to go to. I used to love the arcade.
Well, it is coming back. It's getting a major upgrade and will open later this year with many familiar local and regional bars and restaurants. And most of the second floor in the arcade will showcase year-round exhibitions and events from local artists and galleries. So I am really excited to see what they've done with the place, because I guess like when the arcade originally opened in 1904, it was modeled after a shopping galleria in Milan. But I wonder if your eye doctor is still there.
The owner used to go to my church, and I think it's changed ownership. So that's what, he's an old guy and it's been in his family forever. But I'm excited it's coming back.
And then, well, speaking of downtown, since we're down there, what do y'all think of where the Assembly Hall is and all those outdoor stores? Is it a food hall, that area, or is it a mall? Is it a outdoor mall?
I'm going to go food court there.
Same.
We didn't even talk about food courts. Gosh.
Oh, my goodness. I know.
Food court
Sbarro. I just looked at
nostalgia.
Sbarro.
Sbarro, yeah.
When they first announced that they were doing like this outdoor type thing, I was so pumped about it for downtown because it reminded me of the Church Street Center, which was big in the 90s. I'm going to date myself there. So we had this really awesome mall downtown. But then now it's the public library, which is great. They were able to repurpose it because nobody went to the Church Street Center Mall except kids from Hume Fogg. Real quick, where are your top spots for food at the mall?
Auntie Anne's in Orange Julius.
Yes.
Love Orange Julius.
This one's really hard for me because I now can no longer eat mall food, really, because I'm gluten-free. I'm allergic to all these things. But when I could eat at a mall, I definitely ate Sbarro. I liked China Panda. There was one somewhere. I can't remember where it was anymore, but I loved hitting that place up.
Well, RIP malls. I mean, are they coming back? Who knows? It seems like Nashville is really doubling down on repurposing our old abandoned malls into housing and other things. And then obviously the Green Hills Mall is not slowing down anytime soon. It just seems to be expanding. Yeah.
And Opry Mills, last time I went to Opry Mills, I was in the area. I was going to the Gaylord Opryland thing. And there was this huge car line waiting to get into Opry Mills Mall. It's always packed too. So why did all these malls die when these remaining malls are always packed?
We didn't even get to the revamping of Opry Mills post the 2010 flood. Like, it came back thriving.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah. They built it on a wetland.
this is like Opry Mills point 2. Might have to do a part 2 of the podcast.
Great place to get your steps in. That's what I have to say about Opry Mills Mall. Anyway, well, thank you both so much for going back in time and reliving our memories of the malls. And Nashville listeners, where are you going to the mall? Do you have old memories of the malls? You can write us at nashville@citycast.fm. We want to hear from you. Miriam, always a pleasure. And Margaret, you as well. See you at the mall.
At Auntie Anne's.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. I'll see you at the mall. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends? Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Toodles!